So I'll be focusing more on DARC, but I'll touch upon the other institute as well. So let me start today right now. Okay. So what is the basic mandate of DAE actually? Department of Atomic Energy. The name as itself suggests that it's a government of India arm workforce to look for the everything related to nuclear science and technology. If we try to dissect it, so the major mandate is for the nuclear power generation and also the research reactor. The research reactor is what reactor? Here power generation is not important. We are looking for the neutron and using neutron as a probe to do some research activity, radioisotope production, etc. But in the power generation, interest is on the fission of the fissile isotopes to generate the power. So that's one of the major mandate. These are the output. But before that, a lot of things has to be done. Requisite technology has to be developed. As you might be aware that India falls into the technology denial regime. So technologies are not available, starting from the material design, construction and all. So all those has to be done in-house so that you can see the generation of power, radioisotope production, etc., etc. So all those falls into under the mandate of DAE. Then a very major component of DAE is the societal application. Namely, for example, radioisotope production. Here, radiation technology development for cancer treatment, diagnostic and therapeutic applications. They are very, very important aspect of DAE. To just give an statistics, let us see one dose which is coming from abroad and taking 1 lakh rupees per dose. If you we have been able to produce in India, and they are coming at 7,000 per dose. See the economy, and when you come across Tata Memorial Hospital in Mumbai, you will see that looking the poor status of a lot of cancer patients, this is really a boon. And the DA wants to put a lot of resources and research input in that direction so that the people can be benefited out of that. Then also we have a strategic application of nuclear science. I'm not the very fit person to talk in that regard. I would just say some policy makers argue that the nuclear deterrent is required for maintaining the peace in the zone also. So that also we are still looking into. Okay. So what are the different or different parts of DA? If I would like to classify the power sector, power generation is an important aspect, and for that there are two organizations: Nuclear Power Corporation of India, Mumbai, that looks after thermal neutron-based power production. Mainly the pressurized heavy water reactors are there. Then we have Bhavni, which is housed at Kalpakkam, and their mandate is to look after the power generation using the fast neutrons. So breeder reactors, probably you might have heard, they will be looking at. And to support this power generation program, we have different R&D sectors, institutions, and there BRC Trombe, it's a mother organization. Then we have Indira Gandhi Center of Atomic Research, Kalpakkam, at Indore, Rajaramana Advanced Technology, and accelerator for producing photons, that are the major mandate. Then we have the Variable Energy Cyclotron Center, Kolkata. There the nuclear physics experiments are more important. And then we are looking for superconducting cyclotron machine operation there. Then we have the Atomic Minerals Division at Hyderabad. To run the atomic energy program, lot of mineral has to be resourced in India, and AMDR look after that. Then we have the GCNP inside India and outside India also. We are collaborating with a lot of organizations, and it is looked after through the GCNP. If we talk about the industrial and mineral sector, for example, to run the reactor program and other associated programs also, we require a lot of critical minerals. So there the NFC Hyderabad come into picture, the fuel corporation it is. Then the heavy water division, heavy water works as the moderator in the PSWR reactor. So heavy water board looks after that. Then we have the BRIT, that is the Board of Radiation and Isotope Technology. Basically, what are the radioisotopes should be produced in India? If it is not being produced, it has to be sourced from abroad. These are all looked after through the BRIT. Then we have the public sectors, like the uranium ore has to be mined, processed, and brought to a stage so that the fuel can be made. So that falls under the work program of UCIL Jaduguda, Major Jaduguda, other sites are also there. Then the Electronic Corporation of India, for the control system of reactor programs, a lot of electronic systems has to be developed that falls under the regime of ECI. Then IREL, rare earths minerals, a very critical component in the reactor programs as well as other programs of the country. And we are collaborating with the ISRO also in that regard. In this, to run this all program, a lot of money is involved, a lot of property has to be developed, real estate actually. So those are taken care by our service organizations. But during this all operations, we require the expertise of particular domains like computational mathematics and AIML kind of work, physics development, and all those things are done by our aided institute like Tata Institute of Fundamental Research at Mumbai, Science Institute of Nuclear Physics, Kolkata, Tata Memorial Hospital Center, Mumbai, Harishchandra Institute, Ahmedabad, Physical Plasma Research at Ahmedabad. These are the institutes where you have a particular interest. For example, if you want to do at mathematics, so you should go to NBHM, National Board of Higher Mathematics. If you want to work on physics, astrophysics, and all those things, TIFR would be a good thing. If you want to work with some biology-related work, not typical biology, you want to see the dynamics of a radionuclide in the body, probably you should join TIFR Hyderabad and all those things. Yes. I think it's better. Let it be like this only. It's lagging actually. Okay. So, yeah, the department started in something 1950s. Someone took to dare to dream that we should have. The country was a very fledgling at that time, and Homi Baba thought that we should contribute in that direction, and it was supported by political leadership. And now you see today throughout the India, DAE is permeated, either research reactor, power reactors, or our aided institutions are present, and we are throughout the India. If I just talk about the research power reactors, you can see that nearly 10 gigawatt power generations we are approaching, and mostly PSWR, pressurized heavy water reactor, where the natural uranium with uranium 235 as the fissile element is present in that. Moderator will be heavy water. We are running that. We do not have very high enriched uranium available in country, so PWR is very least. Two BWR we are running, that is on enriched uranium near Tarapur. But we are in collaborations with outside agencies like Russia, Europe, and USA to produce high installed capacity power reactors. Like it is coming at near Gujarat, that is 1000 megawatt unit. In Jaipur near Maharashtra, that will be 650 megawatt reactors, and they will be clustered. So not one unit, but many units, 5-6 units will be there. So you can think of that a very huge power generations we are looking for. Not only that, we are at a new one of our new campus at near Visakhapatnam. We are looking for a very high flux reactor for the radioisotope production. So that will give a very added strength in the radioisotope production. Still, at the after this much of time, lots of radionuclides have to be transported, actually imported from, because we do not have a very high flux reactor to produce many of those reactors, those isotopes. And also, in the recent days, we are looking for the small modular reactors. I will talk about those reactors a little bit later. And these reactors are being thought to augment our energy power capacity. If we talk about the Indian Nuclear Energy Program, probably you might have heard that we conceived it into 3 stages. In the first stage, we have the PSWR kind of reactor, where we burn the natural uranium with uranium-235, the fissile element. And because uranium-238 will be major isotope present there, so by the N gamma followed by beta decay, they will be converting into plutonium-239 isotope. That is a major isotope of plutonium for the fissile work. And in the second stage of our reactor program, we will be using that. So plutonium-239 will be used in the second stage with the fast neutrons. When we use with fast neutrons and plutonium-239 comparison to a stage 1, we will have some extra neutrons per generation available, and that's why it is called a breeder reactor also. We can breed, we have a very extensive thorium resources available, probably one of the largest in the world. So we want to convert thorium-232 to uranium-233, another fissile element in the third stage. And so we can think of a sustained program for a very long run, and that will help us to achieve the energy requirement. When we talk about the when we talk about the each stage I'm talking, if you see, we have a closed nuclear fuel cycle program. What does it mean basically? There are another alternative that is called open cycle. So you make the fuel, burned in the reactor, produce the energy, and whatever the spent fuel is there, that is dumped under the ground. That is open. So once through kind of thing. We do not do in India because of some economical reasons. We do not have a very high grade uranium available, and so it needs to be whatever the unspent is there, that needs to be removed, used it. And also we want to get, and we so it is a closed fuel cycle. What actually we are doing in that, you mine and mill, produce the fuel, and then burned in the reactor, produce the energy, and then you chop those fuel, unspent fuel, process it so that whatever the unspent, unburnt uranium-235 and plutonium-239 is available, that you recover, and they are again processed to put into the reactor program. And whatever the reprocessing waste are there, they are probably brought to the waste storage site. This stage is also very critical. Though I am telling that the waste is going in this route, but they are not actually a waste. There are a lot of isotopes available over there, which is used. For example, cesium-137. Earlier, to clean the blood from the pathogens, it is irradiated by cobalt-60. That was machine used to come from abroad. So the Department of Atomic Energy has substituted cobalt-60 with cesium-137, and now cesium-based blood irradiator is all over in India, in major hospitals, and we have saved lots of money in that regard. Similarly, one not ruthenium-106, we have another fission products available in the West, which is being used in the ocular cancer, and now very routinely used in AIMS Delhi and many other hospitals. So there are a lot of isotopes available in the West, like 99 technetium, that is the workhorse in the diagnostic applications of radioisotopes, and very extensively used actually in India for diagnostic cancer treatment. So a lot of things are available in the West that very economically can be taken it out and used. But still, if you look the chopped fuel dissolved into nitric acid, nearly all the periodic table, the whole periodic table is available from one end to another end. And so the separating each and every element will be very critical challenge. To just give you input, if plutonium is available in the in that 3 molar nitric acid, its oxidation state will be 3, 4, 5, 6. Now if you see the uranium, it will be 6. If you see the neptunium present, it will be 5, and they will be very nearby in the periodic table. 92 is the uranium, 93 neptunium, 94 plutonium, 94 americium. They are all nearby and nearly same oxidation state. If plutonium 3 is available, americium 3 is available. Plutonium 4 is available, uranium 4 may be there, thorium 4 may be available. Chemistry is very similar. To separating it and to very high degree of purity, it's really a challenge. So lots of chemical engineering aspect and chemistry aspect is involved, and we have been successful in implementing those things. Now I want to give some of the R&D activities, what if you join, what you will be doing, and what the people are still over the doing there. Right now you may be a computer engineer, someone is mechanical engineer, and someone may be electrical instrumentation person, etc. But once you join, you may not be. The first thing is that, did I tell something wrong? Okay, I missed civil. Okay. Civil engineering is also very important for us.
Electronics.
So we design, but we wait till the house is constructed. So, and then only the operation starts. So civil engineering is of course very critical from manpower in our department. Okay, probably it my biasness that I have overlooked. Okay, fine. So what I was telling that once you join DARC, you will have to go through 1 year training program. In those training program, only 30% of your course will be related to your own domain. The rest 70% will be related to the transactional courses, and there you will know more of nuclear science, how the other discipline people looked into that kind of problem. So slowly and steadily you become not only remain in your own domain, but you start looking into the other things. And what is the requirement? What is why we do like that? Actually, what happens that whatever the projects you will be working, that will not be able, you will not be able to handle yourself. You will require a team. For example, okay. For example, you are working in an area where the nuclear control and instrumentation has to be seen. So if you are electrical person, along with electronics, mechanical, and other people will also be there. So, okay, I am assuming that the civil person in all the places available, because I just told you. Pardon? Okay, they will always be present because but wherever you will be working, you first make the house. So those things are already there. Okay, so it's all depend that is a very multi expertise group you will be working on. So you need to be expert in your area, but you should also be able to convey your information, your requirement to a person who is working in another area. For example, you are an electrical person, you need to convey your requirement to a computer person. And similarly, if you are a mechanical design, what is for example, a very big instrument has to be set up at some place. The floor, the floor has to be of something, some strength, and some of the time those requirements come, and then you will be talking to the civil engineering people. So all those things are involved. So for example, if you are working with a corrosion studies, if you are a metallic glass, let us say it's a very important topic, metallic glass. Just to give an idea, see, let us say when you are reprocessing the fuel, spent fuel, nearly 1,000 curie of per liter activity is present into that. To just give an phenomenological idea, if you are standing behind that, those what these solutions, high activity solutions, it's a very detrimental for your health. You will not able to survive more than an hour also. If you put a camera to just see the process there, no camera will sustain more than 10 minutes. It is so radioactive, radioactively hot actually. And you are not 1 liter you will be handling, you will be handling 100 liters, 200 liters kind of activity now you can think of. So those activity, if it has to be dealt with, it has to be done in a huge concretized environment, and the radiation should not come with the person who is operating that facility. And for that, that is high density concrete, 1 meter thickness is there. Now, robotized arms are there to do the operation, but sometimes you need to see what is happening over inside. So there has to be a window provision, and there we put metallic glass. Now see the requirement of the glass. Radiation should not come out, but it should be so much of transparent that you should can see inside what is happening. So those kind of materials development in the reactor where the PSW are kind of reactors, you are operating with treated water. Lots of hydrogen production is also there. So those hydrogen production has to be mitigated at a very low interval. Otherwise, you are sitting on a time bomb. So the materials development regarding that also falls into the domain of chemical engineers and chemistry people. So lots of there is there. If you are working with a corrosion studies, how the metal get corroded. See, the reactor is running. So when we start the reactor, a magnetite layer has to be formed on the. So how does it impact? Some of the time you are not very careful in the material selections. For example, to just give an example to that, in one of the our reactor, we used a valve which has an antimony present into that. That antimony start leaching out from that valve, and what it happened, the shutdown, which was expected for a week, extended to 1 month because of the radiation produced due to that trace level of antimony. So some of the time you have to be very careful about the materials development and all those things. Okay. Similarly, I hope there is no chemistry person here, but for a chemical engineer person also, all those work programs you will be working with. For example, your nuclear fuel cycle. So you can understand that you have a organic phase, you have a aqueous phase, nearly 1,000 liters or 100 liters scale it is, and you have to contact them so that nearly 1 kilogram of plutonium present in 1,000 liter has to be transported from aqueous to organic without disturbing, without taking the impurity. Huge challenge is there. Then you have to see that when the whatever the waste is there, we are vitrifying in the glass matrix. So you should choose such a glass compositions that your waste, which might have be different oxidation state kind of things, Some of them volatile also, you have to trap all those isotopes so that they do not evaporate, they should not make third phase and all those things. So a lot of challenges are there. You will be working very high temperature, high radiation field is there. Analytical chemistry is a very important aspect. We are dealing with different type of mass spectrometers because the purity level in our different nuclear material, structural materials is very high. For example, boron, gadolinium. Some of them will be huge neutron absorber, and if you do not properly manage the purity level of, let us say, gadolinium, it will be severely impact the neutron economy in the reactor, which should not allow it to happen. The fuel composition, whatever the fuel you are making, the stoichiometry of the fuel, not a single lot, but in every lot, it should be in very narrow region it should be, and those requirements should be properly employed. Then for that, a lot of laser research, accelerator-based research is involved, and laser development. We are not getting India that kind of lasers from outside. So then, when you have to do like that, you have to in-house produce different type of dye lasers. If you are working in some group which have the physical sciences at the main work program, then different kind of simulations, high pressure studies, high energy physics kind of things we are doing. Then NDT testing is also a very non-destructive testing. For example, some explosive has been got from somewhere, some counterfeit material is present over there. You have to not open the box. You should not. You cannot destructively. You cannot use those materials, but still you have to know that whether what it is. So even the explosive, you should know which kind of explosive it is. So a lot of non-destructive techniques has to be developed. We are using photons, we are using neutrons to do all those things. So you have to develop the protocols, method, and all. In high pressure physics, like when you have the thermonuclear explosions, the core has to be at very high physics, high pressure. So you have to see that how the shock waves will be behaving in those scenarios. So a lot of computational work is there. We have supercomputer facility, but got a new supercomputer facility working for AI and ML. So uh, that helps our work program in that way. A lot of biological problems do involve, but no one is here, so I will not emphasize much. But just to give an example, let us say at one place some accident like Fukushima Daiichi accident has happened. Lots of activity has spread over it place. So initially you will be doing some chemical treatment, but the activity will be following in asymptotic manner. So you just cannot do in just 2-3 steps like that, and their bioremediation is a very important aspect to take care of that. And also it is very important, let us say, where the uranium mining and milling is happening, no matter how much you have removed, some of them at a very low level present, but when you are dealing with 1,000 liters of solutions where let us say 0.001% uranium is present, so you can think a sizable amount is there. So uranium mill tailing ponds are there. It is considered that over a period of time they can go to the water table. So that's a very detrimental situation. You should not disturb the water table because the lot of human population will be around. So how to mitigate those problems? You have to find a solution to that. So there are a lot of things are involved, and especially when you are dealing with different kind of fuel elements like plutonium oxide, zirconium, etc. They are highly pyrophoric. Highly pyrophoric means if handling should done in a very high purity argon atmosphere, if slight ingress of oxygen is there, it catches fire, and the fire is something like that. It evolves by its own. It's then controlling becomes very difficult. So if it inhales inside the body, what will be the body dynamics of it? how they will come out of it. If you do not treat properly within something a week or so, then chances is there the plutonium might go to your bone, and then you will be sitting in the microwave for throughout of your life. So, how does it happen? Probably you might have seen. I was seeing a month back a report from the Bihar itself that that research has been done by Mahavir Cancer Institute in Patna. So lots of uranium was seen in the blood, this milk actually. So those conditions clearly indicate that proper groundwater control have not been done. How to mitigate those problems? Those kind of the problems biological people look after. Probably you might have to help me. Okay, so these are some of the activities you will be doing, but these are the activities. We are not bothered about activities, we are bothered about what is the outcome of it. So how does your R&D activity will be reflected out in work program? So let us see this one. Okay, I think when you are making reactors actually, the dome has to be first constructed, the reactor vessel has to be constructed. So, and inside there will be several steel, very specific kind of steel has to be developed. They need to be forged into different reactor vessels and all those things. Piping has to be done. This is the end sealed part of the reactor kind of things. Then the grid plates. You can see the kind of volume and the scale which you will be has to be done. All this research has to be done inside either BARC or IGCAR, and only the final, after the prototyping, it goes to the industry to produce it. You see the piping, stainless steel piping in some of the reprocessing plant. This is the cavity for the production, energy enhancement of the proton beams, and this is the grid plate. The This is the slab for the reactor vessel. I want to show you one particular example here. Yeah, you see this. This is the reactor vessel. Uh, Forging is happening. You can see the size of the vessel, how much thick it will be, and it has to be a single piece actually. Lot of testing has to be done, and it's a very critical technique available to very few countries in the world. Just to give an example, once you have made a reactor, for the nearly 30 years you cannot touch. You cannot say I can stop the reactor and go and do the maintenance, and it should work for the next 30 years or so as per the specifications. So you can think of how much a specification it has to be, and not only in the sense of construction only. You are lot its impurity level, its reaction with water or molten salt metal conditions. Because if you talk about the fast breeder reactor, the molten sodium will be flowing. So how the high temperature this sodium metal will interact with the body, the construction material, and the neutrons are there, how the neutrons will affect the bodies. That's irradiation ability, because alpha particles will be there, lots of gamma dose will be there. So a lot of constructions aspect is involved, but other aspect need to be also evaluated. Now, other whatever the industrial applications DRC is involved. For example, if you have running oil pipelines, or that oil factories are there, lots of pipelines are there, and some of the time they found that there is a flow congestion. If you have to know where the congestion is happening, either you stop the pipeline or the processing plant and find out. Otherwise, in the running condition, if you have to do it by using radioisotopes can be done. So there is a rabbit containing that radioisotopes, and it is run through the flow, and we check at every point where the how the flow is changing, and you can find out the construction, where the constriction has happened or the where the flow is being controlled, and do the remedial measures. Similarly, at different ports, regularly the sedimentation happens, and that's why the big vessels cannot approach the port nearer by. If it doesn't happen, then big containers has to be brought from very far off from in the sea, and that adds to the uh, economy of the whole process very destructively. So desilting has to be happen. This is the photo of the Calcutta port, Pradeep port, and so for how the desilting and that sedimentation rate has been there, when you need to do the desilting and all those things by using radioisotopes, BRC is regularly involved in those kind of work. Then the flow rate, how the flow rate in the canal development and all, it can be done. Yeah, DRC has developed some of the instrumentation for the cancer treatment. One of the things I have shown here, this is using the gamma dose. So cobalt 60 based Bhavatron has been developed for the cancer treatment. So basically you are giving the radiation dose to heal the cancerous uh, so the gamma dose is here to heal the patient, but what it actually happens when you are giving the gamma dose, some of the cancerous cells as well as the surrounding healthy cells also get affected. So there the alpha targeted therapy also can come. And this machine we have already given to nearly 70 countries. Yeah, so I was telling that
Everybody please be seated. जिनके क्लासेस हैं उनको अटेंडेंस मिल जाएगा.
So I was talking about the radiation therapy. Here the radioisotopes are being used in the diagnostic applications. Like you see, it is a 131 iodine is being given to the as an oral intake, and then you process to find the thyroid functioning. Similarly, 99 technetium is also inserted into the body through the injection, and you can imagine the cancerous lesion in the body. Apart from the diagnostic application, apart from the diagnostic application, therapeutic application is as well there, and you can see it here in one of the positions where the ocular cancer is there. This is the ruthenium 106 black, but iodine 125 also have been used, and you can see that in this position it is not possible to do the operation. So the this kind of treatment can be done to get. Some of the time palliative treatment is also there. You have some patient has come to a stage where neither operation, neither the chemotherapy, nor the radiotherapy will work. So there the radiation therapy is done to alleviate the pains that are called palliative treatment. I was talking about the blood irradiator. I am showing it here. So you recover the cesium from the high level waste. That is the spent fuel, and then it is put into the borosilicate matrix of suitable composition. It is being put the melted borosilicate and the cesium is putting into a form of pencil, It's come into some kind of arrangement, and those goes into the blood irradiator. So when you see when you give the blood to the cancer patient, patients are already very weak, so it has to, the blood should be very much suitable to their body. So in that case, the blood has to be first irradiated with the radiations, so that the no pathogens are there. Not only those applications, but in the food sector also, the radiation has a very helpful position. You can see it here. You can enhance the shelf life of foods. You can it should not be destroyed very fast. By radiation you can lower down that inclinations. So here you can see the sprouting of the food products can be lowered by radiations. If you can see the spoilage of different kind of spices that can be lowered. Basically, the shelf life. Even the few radioisotope, this heavy water is used to preserve the very expensive medicines, injections actually, that increase the life. Especially in the case of mango, which is sent to USA and Europe, that needs to be adhering to the food standard of European nations, developed nations. And in that case, you need to irradiate it so that they can match with their food standards. In India also, the medical products are now being regularly hygienized through the irradiation, gamma irradiations, cobalt 60 and cesium 137 sources. Even electron irradiation is also done in the case of heavy medical surgical operations. Yeah. Okay. So here I want to show you some examples where the isotopes have been used, like hydrogen deuterium ratio kind of measurements, uh, to revive the different water channels in Uttarakhand. Prospecting minerals is also a very critical component of DAE, not only the uranium thorium resources, and different type of critical component like titanium, rare earths. Those has to be properly prospected throughout the country, and those has to be done remotely actually. So not destructive protocols you have to develop. Our AMDR actually is involved in that, but in DRC also people are collaborating, like wherever the radioisotopes are involved, how can be they can be measured. And I'm talking about a very low activity ppb level of concentration. Apart from that, this is a let's see that probably वहां से कट करके हाँ, So I was referring that not only the different DA projects, but you can also be part of the mega experiments happening in the world over. For example, a very critical uh, addition we made in the different mega projects like ITER, CERN, LIGO, Fermilab, INO. Our computer engineer, electronics, electrical people are involved in CERN experiments. Then mechanical, civils, chemicals people go to ITER, then Fermilab physics and all. I know in the physics. We have also developed one shipborne antenna terminal for ISRO that will be used in tracking the manned mission. Probably this slide. Yeah, I want to bring your attention to this screen, this slide. See, this is a source, synchrotron source. Basically, the relativistic energy electrons you are moving in the near circular paths, and you are creating energy radiations, basically electromagnetic radiations in the UV, IR, and finally the X-ray regions also. If I talk about the radiation intensity here, they are really very brilliant source. Just to give an idea, if you have a fixed a node X-ray source in your laboratory, or whatever the source probably you might see in the one X-ray diagnostic lab, to compare, if I compare the intensity here, it will be nearly 10 to 12 orders of magnitude higher. So it's really very intense. And when it is in the relativistic energy regime, the property changes a lot of drastically. So if someone, people, physics background is here, like the helicity changes and all those things, and do a lot of science. For example, to give an example, if you want to see how the cataract forms develop in the eye, if you see the dynamics of that cataract development, probably you have to go to here. If you want to see how the protein folding is happening, and to see the speciation of a particular element at one particular position, you have to use the synchrotron radiation. So I think you might have heard about our Nobel Prize winner G. Ramakrishnan. He's Oxford professor. He is working at ESRF and those kind of problems. In India also we have this synchrotron at RRCAT, Rajaramana Center of Advanced Technology. You can use that. My own research work is also involved in that direction. So this is the insertion devices. This is the bending magnets accelerator, and you can also the different matrix of the magnets to generate different characteristics. The radiation comes here is very pencil kind of things, but here it will be a little broader. Not only the photons but also the neutrons is very helpful, and we have a Dhruva reactor where you can have the neutron beam, neutron from 14 MeV to thermal energy 0.025 electron volt, like that. So a lot of compositional, like if you have the alloy material, you don't want to do the some AES kind of experiments, you can do using the neutron, the compositional determination. You can do the scattering experiment and all those things. Now I am coming to this question. Our department started in something 1950s. A constant stream of students from IITs and IITs we are getting regularly. Good funding, good projects. Now why want to do the outreach at this point of time? Now the department is very much interested to approach the students, tell them that what we are doing, and we want attention to join our program. What is the necessity actually? See, in the present, this 2025 budget, the finance minister talked about nuclear energy mission. And the Prime Minister is also variably talking about B.C.E Bharat by 2047. Hardly 20 odd years are left. And the DA has made a very really ambitious goal. Right now we are at something 10 gigawatt of energy. And we want to achieve 200, nearly 10 order of magnitude development over a period of something 20-25 years. It's a massive work program. And not only that, you don't see it is an expansion of energy program. The whole associated structure has to be developed. For example, you want to make a small modular reactors. Now the molten fuel will be there. You will be operating at 400-500 degrees Celsius. The fuel is there. The moderation is happening in the fuel element itself. There is no 2-3 components. When the energy is being produced, you have a fuel element. The neutrons has to be moderated by moderators available there. Then there should be some coolant to bring the heat from core to the outside so that it can feed to the grid. So, but in the newer concept of small modular reactors, we are thinking that there is will flowing so the heat molten media which works as a fuel element, which works as a coolant also. And what the benefit is that the benefit will be then we will be doing the in situ reprocessing also. So all the components of nuclear energy program being put together, a smart concept is coming up. What actually the benefit will be there? We will have the more energy output from our reactors so that we can each. This is one aspect. Another work programs are also conceived like some of the old fossil fuel based reactors are decommissioned. We used to retrofit them to a customized to our work program, especially the 220 megawatt PSWR work. We want to club with those programs. So a lot of things are there. We want to augment our capacity by including more and more enthusiastic and really capable engineers with us. Now, when I look for you people, you will be coming out of the college in few years, this year, next year, like that. And some of them will be thinking about IAS, some will be thinking about going to management and all those things. I just want to tell you why you should join to DA. Those questions I'm not analyzing. What I am analyzing and why you should join to a research and development organization where you can do research, you can innovate, challenge yourself to be a better, having better understanding of your subject area. So let me do some SWOT analysis for you. What is the strength if you join to BRC? Or what is the strength of the idea that you are joining BRC? It's a well-paid job. Whatever the best government job you can think of with salary wise, it is there in BRC. And important is that you are leading one program, you are the leader of that. So how do you manage your private life and professional life? It will be in your hand, a good life, work balance you can think of. And it's rarely transferable. If you are in BRC, for most of the life you will be in BRC. Probably once you become very senior and you are thought you should lead some other program, you might go to here and there. But more or less you will be stationed in Mumbai if you are joining the BRC. If you are joining IGCA, you will be in Chennai most of your life. So the transferability problems are not there. Private life you can run very well. And you are working in a prestigious lab. We do not have a problem of funding. So the problem is that your idea, how much convincing you are to convince your higher ups to execute that program. So money is never a problem in the ARC. And because you are working in a prestigious lab, so international collaborations will not be their problem. In your professional life, you will be given 3 years time to go outside, hone your expertise, work in everywhere. We two people are sitting here, there we often, I have gone for 3 years outside, working in the best lab in Europe. So, an experience of the world's best synchrotron facility. So, everyone who joins, they are getting those kind of opportunities. It is you that where you want to go. So, and there is no breakage of service for those 3 years. So it's a really great opportunity. For IAS, it is just 1 year for IAS officers. But in our institute, it's 3 years. It's really an opportunity. Now, what is the weakness of this idea? If you want to work in a very agile setup like startups, then you may be a little frustrated. Because you are not working in a small projects. You are part of a big projects, and the decisions will be hierarchical. Someone will be looking for the financial aspect, you will be looking for the design, you will be looking for execution or something. Because it's a big projects, from the top to bottom people will be involved, So if you think it is not progressing fast and that makes you impatient, then you have to give a serious thought to that. But you see, a good idea requires some incubation period. It has to mature slowly. In nature, once it makes time, and it takes lot of time to perfect it. But when you go for American diamond, the signing is not so like that. So there is a trade-off what you want, and of course, even on the day when you will be entitled for Padma or Padma Shri Padma Bhushan, I'm very sure you will not be running a BMW car. You will be probably Desire or Swift like a car. You will be moving on. So you have enough money to have a good life. Your children, you yourself will be having good facility around you. But if you think of a private life where you start with 18 or 20 lakh packages, probably those not be there. So what you want, basically, this is the question I am bringing your interest to. What the opportunity? That much I am very sure of, that whatever is the front line happening in the world, you will have the opportunity to work on that in BRC. But then you may ask me a question, so where does we stand in the world scenario? See, what it actually happens, it all depends upon how do you see the work program itself. If I look my research program, do I am contributing something meaningful? Do my work get published in one of the best journals in the world? Do I am recognized in the community of my jobs in the world? If it is there, I am hopeful that my other colleagues are doing same. And when you take the total aggregates, probably we are approaching that way. India is like that. In BRC, we are approaching that way. We are making headway in some critical technology, but of course, it will not be possible to talk in the open forum. When you are part of my community, you will be able to understand much better. What is the weakness, threat to this, your idea of joining BRC? You will be, when you will be the director BRC, or when you are a training scientific officer, you will require to hone your capability, your skills throughout. Once you have learned in your college, it's nothing. A lot of things you have to learn once you go over there. In the 1 year training program, that's a very rigorous training programs. And after that also, you will have to regularly go for interviews, how much professional upgradation you have done to yourself. So there, so what I'm referring to that, you cannot just sit that I'm doing some, I'm operating some work programs, so I don't need to upgrade myself. That will not be happening. You will have to read it, learn your, upgrade yourself. So those threat will be there. So you should be ready. I think it's not a threat. It is a part of a research environment when you have to do. And I'm telling that this is required on each every scale, whether you are a director BRC or you are the very scientific officers at the very lower level. It's required the upgradation, and that's why that's one kind of, I would say it's a threat. And I told you one of the weakness you say, or it is a challenging environment. That's what you can see. Um, how do you join in BRC? My colleague Dr. Santosh Kumar will tell you. But one I can tell you that it's a really tough selection procedure. Very low selection ratio is there. To just give a statistics, it is the last year scientific officer selection statistics you see. Nearly 2 to 3 people per 1,000 students, they get selected. And mind it, whatever the total students will be there, they all will be good and bright students like you. Out of that, 2 to 3 people. If I give you a statistics in the physical sciences, physics, chemistry, biology, no student since 2002, no student since 2002 has been selected in BRC in physics, chemistry, mathematics, physics, chemistry, and biology, who has done their master from in Bihar, from Bihar. If they are going to IIT Chennai, IIT Kanpur, and all those places, they get selected, they have come. But those students who have done their education from the Bihar itself, they have not been able to select it. I'm talking about the physics, chemistry, and biology part. It's not in engineering. Very good stream of students we are getting from Bhagalpur, earlier Bhagalpur, then Muzaffarpur Engineering College, some institute, Ranchi, Mesra and all. So we are getting some students. So I'm not deterring you, I'm not trying to make a fear in you. I just want to bring to your idea that what is our selection procedure actually, what we look for you in you. We require that if you are coming from your civil or electrical or mechanical, your fundamentals should be very, very strong. Use for the fundamental, you should be Pandit Ravi Shankar in your own domain. Because once your concept is there, BRC might use it for different projects. You will be working in one project sometime, you may have to shift to some other projects over a period of time. Your concept are not very strong, then it will be difficult to move from here to there. So at this point of time, what if you have an idea to join an R&D organization like BRC, I would like to say to you, and do not get feared by these statistics. This is a waking call to tell you that you have to just look into your fundamentals. Are they really strong enough? And do you have a desire to challenge yourself? Then BRC is the right organization. What are the modality through which you can join us? My colleague will tell you. I'll put my hand to my words here. At the end of both of our talks, then we will have a question and answer session. If you have any particular questions to us, we will be happy to answer it. Go to the folder, go to the pen drive. So pen drive.
Good afternoon, and I hope you have, by the time you have come to know that so much work is there, and there was some dissatisfaction from civil side. So no, it is not like that. You will see how many civil engineers are recruited. They are recruited in sufficient number every year. So from Bhagalpur Engineering College, we have many friends. And when I say many friends, that means it may happen that when you are appearing for your interview, then the person taking interview can be from your college. So there is no reason to fear the 0.2, 0.3% numbers. But you have to be really good, because even though your alumni will be sitting in the interview panel, there will be no bias, and it will be free and fair selection process. That is something that should give you comfort, because many times in government recruitment there is a fear that selection process is not fair. Many times that is there, but that is not the case with BRC. The recruitment process is completely fair. So what we require from you is that you have to love your subject. Everything else will follow, for that you don't have to worry. So I will go through the recruitment channels through which you join DAE, and you can see here we have OCES, that is the major program. This is orientation course for engineering graduates and science postgraduates. So we recruit engineers and also MSc in physics, chemistry and biology. Then there is DGFS scheme. These two are recruitment processes. Then there is doctor program. Here you don't get the recruitment, but you get admission into PhD program. That is 4 to 5 years program. And then there are opportunities for summer training and other practical internship programs. So you will get into BRC or DA through these processes. So here you see different disciplines that we recruit and there is overlap. That means your profile after selection will be interdisciplinary. And it has to be because for entire life you cannot afford to remain mechanical engineer or civil engineer. You have to interact with each other, you have to know their subjects, their knowledge and vice versa. So that way we learn from each other and grow in life. So this shows that science and engineering has no boundaries in reality. So these are two recruitment programs and OCEAC is major one through which we recruit every year nearly 250 trainees and nearly 175 will be from engineering side and 70 to 80 from science side. So here the two programs are described. OCES is 1 year orientation course for engineering graduates and science postgraduates at BRC Training School, Mumbai and also its branch at Hyderabad. Then a stipend is paid during that training program. So selection to that training does not mean that you are recruited already. You are recruited only for the training and you have to perform in that training program. There will be certain minimum marks, I believe 50%, and only if you score that, then you are recruited. Otherwise, you are not recruited. And mostly it does not happen that anybody selected to this program is not recruited, but once in a blue moon, that also happens. So that selection, you cannot be relaxed after that. You have to be rigorously participating into that program. Now for DGFS, what happens, you are selected through this same interview, but simultaneously you have secured admission in MTech of either IIT Mumbai or IIT Chennai. Then you are allowed to complete your MTech at the respective institution, and after that for 2 years, and then after that, after completing your MTech, you join the department. But number of seats are very less in that, so you should not focus on that. If you get that, it's fine. If you get this is very good. Now here also, in this program also, when you join the training school, 1 year will be training and then you join the department. But the next year, you can complete your project work, you are in the job as well, there you are in